Guys, welcome back to GTEC Motorworks. As you can see, the camera angle is slightly different today. We've got Goliath with us and he's 22 foot, so he's looking down at us. So you're going to see a smaller version of Big Imty. In the last video you saw me dismantle the Audi R8 bumper, which was an absolute mammoth of a job. Today we'll be fitting the Larini Club Sport exhaust to the Audi R8. Follow me. Okay, so first in line we'll be removing the engine cover of the Audi R8, and now what we're going to do is remove the air boxes. So these air boxes have got some ducts which need to be unclipped, as you can see there. We'll be removing them by taking out the T30 bolts. It's got 4 bolts, 2 at the front and 2 at the back. Then there is a massive Jubilee clip going onto the intake pipe, rubber pipe. We'll undo that, push the pipe off gently and begin to remove the airbox. So now we'll repeat the process on the other side.
Run it by you, send a text, I know it's late. Every time I shoot that shot, know I net it. I ain't stressing, I ain't worried about the pressure. It ain't nothing, I've been vetted. This testosterone in your section, know you ready. Need you to drop that pen, let me slide in my presence. Let me lock it in, I bet you never regret it. I can show you some things you ain't ever seen, so you won't forget it. Hey, no comparison. You anything but regular, it's evident. You my healing, you my medicine. You knew me before I knew me, you really been for me ever since. Never lost sight of where we trying to make it. I've been trying to get ahead of it before I go. Crazy all of the places that this life will take you. Lately I've been wanting to make it last forever though. I need it from you.
Okay, so next we will be removing the rear lights. To do this we need to remove 3 T30s. There's 2 on the top and 1 round the side, which is the longer one. There's also a 10mm nut securing the rear lights on the back. Once we remove that, we can pop the rear light out, disconnect the connector, and off it comes. And we get the chance to do it all over again on the other side.
Let me spend a time on you. Let me spend a time on you. 11, I just pulled up at your place. You know on your nerve, bet I work it till you cave. I could make your day, put that smile back on your face. I bet I know how to make that heartbeat do the race. Yeah, I know it's been a week at that job this week. Add it till I'm bagging up enough so you can leave.
Okay guys, next we need to remove this aluminium panel. So this panel is secured with 4 multi-spline bolts. The Americans like to call it a triple square, which makes me laugh. Anyway, this panel houses the wiring and the camera for the reverse camera. So we need to dislodge all the wiring. There's a lot of looms and connectors here. We'll get them out of the way. There's 2 T30s which holds the panel to the heat shield. So we must remove this so that we can clear the exhaust and lift it straight out. So once we remove all that, this panel can come straight out.
I can show you what you're missing. I can never lie to you. I would really ride for you. You know I spend the time on you. I could hold it down for you. Let me spend the time on you. Let me spend the time on you.
If it's love, I want everything. Touch my soul, touch my heart, don't judge my mental. They told me that life is simple, been real since Papa Pimple. I started out in the Renault Sonata, the presidential. Speak once and listen twice. They told me that less is simple. I'm observing in the room.
Okay, so the Audi R8 exhaust essentially sits in like a heat shield cell. Absolutely crazy design by Audi. So what we're doing here at the moment is we're removing the side heat shielding which wraps itself around the tailpipes. It's got it on either side. Once we've done that, we'll remove the 2 13mm bolts and take off the rear bumper, the crash bar. There it is, nice and shiny. Okay guys, next what we need to do is take out the 2 mounting bolts for the exhaust. There's 2 on either side. They are multi-splines or triple squares as the Americans like to call it. Once that's done, we also need to remove the clamps. As you can see there's 2 on either side because it's a V10. Once that's off, the exhaust can be pulled out the way. And you can see by the look on mine and Joe's face, we are absolutely buzzing that this exhaust is off because it was an absolutely massive job. Okay, now so the exhaust is finally on the floor. We need to remove these spring clips which hold some springs onto the exhaust. This basically ensures that the heat shield is on true, like, you know, in the middle. So once we remove them, they pop out, the spring slides off, and there's like a lead washer behind it. Once that comes off, this whole metal casing can come off. Oh yeah, there's a few more T25s and then it can come off. Right, so as you can see, we've got the standard exhaust system off the car. What I thought might be a good idea to do is weigh the Larini Club Sport exhaust and weigh the standard exhaust to see what the weight difference is. So we have a scale. Let's get the team's view on it. Steve, see those exhausts? That's a Larini Club Sport exhaust,
okay,
and that's a standard exhaust one, the bigger one.
Yeah.
What do you think the weight saving will be without lifting it up? What do you think?
Probably half.
Numbers, give me numbers. How many kilograms do you think you'll save?
15.
15 kg. Okay, Furco, what do you think? How many
I'm going to
kgs?
go for 30 kilos. Quite
30
high,
kilos?
I have a feeling 30, I don't know why.
The whole thing probably don't even weigh 30 kilos, but thanks for your input, Furco. Zach and Steve, you can see the 2 exhausts on the floor next to each other. How much weight saving do you think we'll make in kgs?
Weight saving?
Yeah, so how much, what do you think the difference will be between the two? How much lighter do you think the Larini will be against the standard exhaust?
16.5.
It's very precise, Zach. See?
7.4.
7.4. See, I think that's a more realistic figure. So, let's go for it and weigh them. 32.7 kilograms. The standard exhaust weighs 32.7. Let's see what the Larini weighs.
Trust me, I've been saving weight like that for years.
Hold up. Bro, I'm not even holding it. Oh my god, is that what I'm fucking weight saving is?
Did I get that right?
Said 16 and a half.
15 kilograms.
Oh yes, get it.
Should have said.
See,
That's why they fit them, guys.
40 odd years. I don't know.
15 kg.
Yeah.
Damn. Well done, Steve, you were right. Years of experience, these grey hairs have come, you know what I mean? The guy's got experience. So there you see it. It's not only because it's better for performance, it's weight saving, they use lighter materials. Larini, I rate them because on my last R8, I had Larini, and this is off the last R8. So let's go ahead and fit it to the car. Okay, now we have the pleasure of fitting the Larini exhaust back inside this heat shielding cell. So what we've got to do is slip it in, and there's 2 kind of guides which push through a hole. This is where the springs need to go back on with those locators and the washers, and then we've obviously got to put the clip in. Once that's done and it's bolted back together, we can go ahead and fit it back into the R8. But being a BMW Audi specialist, what we have noticed is when people do replace these exhausts, what they forget to do is operate the vacuum lines. What tends to happen is the vacuum controllers for the exhaust are usually in a different place, okay? Or they're either on the left side or the right side, or a bit higher or a bit lower. What people forget to do is extend these and upgrade them. So what we do here, guys, is we upgrade them with this hose and make it longer. So all I'm going to be doing here essentially is, this is the standard vacuum hose, which comes in this protective, like a foil kind of thing. and that's just to prevent any kind of chafing or rubbing on the actual chassis here, on the subframe. So what we're going to do is put the new pipe through here. We'll leave it extra long so we can cut it exactly where we need to. We'll put this up here, feed it onto the vacuum line, put it all together, and we'll do the same on the other side. Watch me. Okay, so we're going to push the new pipe onto the original pipe. We're then going to secure this heat protection and secure it with a clip. There it goes. And we're going to push it all the way along so it covers the original pipe. Now, what I've got here in my hands are the exhaust clamps. These are V clamps. We need to put these on before we push the exhaust on, and these are a bit tricky to line up, so I've got a little hand from the apprentice. Once they are all lined up, we will slot the 16mm bolts using a heel and toe bar here. I'll just make sure it's all lined up. We'll put them in by hand, and I'm not going to tighten these up until I've actually got the clamps on. So as you can see here, it's being pushed from the back. The two 16mm bolts are in, and I'm literally clamping the exhaust back onto the manifold. Once that's done, the heel and toe bar will ensure that these mounts are lined up properly, so I won't go ahead and tighten them up until they are. That's what the bar is used for. And once we've tightened them up, that's that part sorted. On to the next part. We will do the same on the other side, making sure they're all lined up and tightened up. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here, guys, is join up to the original vacuum pipe, which is plastic. That leaves the original aluminium pipe, which runs across the back where the subframe is, as you can see behind my hands there. So once that's put on, I'm also going to take an extra precautionary measure here, and I will be applying this heat shielding tape. It's like a foil tape. This will prevent this pipe from getting damaged with heat or chafing. As part of this modification, I have also had to make a new hole. As you can see, I'm like pushing my finger through it so the pipe doesn't chafe. This is so that it ensures the pipe can route through the hole and straight onto the back of the exhaust actuator. And now I'll literally just secure it using some tie wraps and making sure there's enough free movement in the pipe. I'll do exactly the same on the other side. This one's a shorter run, and I've had to actually use the original aluminium pipe, vacuum pipe there, because the routing was just easier. So now I've done that, we literally just tighten up a few more bits on this heat shielding, making sure it's secure and not rubbing against the exhaust or anything like that. Okay, back onto this aluminium panel. Now the exhaust is fitted, I can push this back in. Using the multi-spline bolts, we will tighten them back up. This panel is quite important because it is responsible for this cable here, which releases the glass. So we'll route that. We'll push the rear lights back in, lining them up properly, tightening them up, and we'll literally start rebuilding the back end. Okay guys, so as you saw, it was a pretty big job getting access to the exhaust. This panel had to come off with the colour-coded bolts. Very tight fit because it forms part of the back end of the chassis. So we've got this back in. It's got a great wiring loom which runs across the back for the camera and the aerial. So we've done all that and we're ready to start it. You want to hear it? Let's go. So that was nice and loud. I didn't want to rev it up too much because, as you can see, we've not really put the airboxes back on. That's how these things catch fire. So we will rev it up, I promise you. I'll give you a nice rev off once the airbags are on. We have ordered, not airbags, the fucking airboxes I mean. So we will give it a rev up once the airboxes are on. I have ordered some K&N air filters for it because that's what the last one had on. And that's it guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video on the R8 V10 Plus. Please like, share and subscribe. Stay tuned to G-Tech Motorworks. We are Derby's Volkswagen Audi Group specialists. Give us a shout guys. If you need anything, click the link below to our website and that can take you there, and give us a shout. See you soon.
You getting better with the times. Looking on your herbs, tasting like some fine wine. Ex broke your heart, you can hear that through a mind. Nick be calling, but you never mind, cause you all mine. Pull up to my house late night, hit the brake lights and the shade right. I know what's up on your mind. Pour a couple shots with the Henny in my cup and a couple moments.